Hey rockers, welcome back to another video, man. Trying to pick up the pace a little bit and bring you some more exciting punk rock, metal, outlaw country, and curveball tales here at Bloody Mess Official. Tonight we're going to go back to the year 2018, but first, a plug for Son of Snake. Yeah, man, Son of Snake just sent me the brand new CDs, man, and I'm a big fan of Son of Snake. A killer band out of Coos Bay, Oregon. Look at that cover art, man. Shout out to Chris Strong. He's one of these guys that never stops putting out great music, great hardcore punk. And you can find him on Facebook and elsewhere on streaming platforms. Son of Snake, very good stuff. Heavy stuff. Stuff with thought-provoking lyrics, and I appreciate you guys keeping me on the mailing list. We'll be playing this on the Church of Rock radio show, and we'll be interviewing Chris Strong on the Church of Rock radio show sometime down the road shortly. So yeah, shout out Son of Snake. What a great freaking band name too, man. Yeah, respect. Tonight we're going back to the year 2018, you guys, to talk about a guy that I call a friend. Haven't talked to him for a while, but he's a guy that a lot of people look up to. He's a hero to many. He's a definite legend without a doubt, and his name is RIKK AGNEW. And of course, he's a legend down in the Orange County, California areas, California in general, the United States, and the world over, because everyone loves RIKK AGNEW, man. And he's one of those guys that I'm fortunate to have crossed paths with him, have experienced quite a few interesting experiences with him. And one of those experiences I'm going to talk about right now. Basically, I'm going to start out with the fact that my band, the Bloody Mess Rock Circus, we opened up for the RIKK AGNEW band down at 29 Palms, California, down there in the desert, man. There's nothing down there but, like, you know, you're close to, like, Joshua Tree and where, you know, Graham Parsons died, which is a great place. But there's not much down there except a couple bars and a Marine base. And that Marine base came in later to the story. But basically, the Bloody Mess Rock Circus opens up for the RIKK AGNEW band. We're all excited to meet Rick. And while I'm on stage performing, I'm wearing a Scottish kilt. And I was on stage, and this guy in the audience was drunk. He was a Marine. And I started making fun of, like, Klamath Falls, Oregon, but I was just joking. Nothing heavy or mean or derogatory. But the guy was, like, really drunk, and he was heckling me, and he kept saying stuff about Klamath Falls, like, yeah, Klamath Falls. And I said, yeah, man, Klamath Falls, haha, and just, you know, being a smartass. And the guy took it super seriously. And while I was performing, I had my back turned for a second. Next thing you know, I'm like, boof! I'm being tackled like I'm on a damn football field. And this dude is literally yelling as he's trying to grab me and, you know, pummel me to death. He's saying, I'm gonna, you know, unalive you. He kept repeating that over and over, like, I'm gonna, you. And the reason I'm doing that is because they've been limiting my monetization and because I've been using too foul of language on my channel lately. So, smack my face, I'm a mental case. No more cussing. Okay, I will cuss. Just not all the time. So listen, man, this guy was going to kill me, this Marine, and my whole band dropped all their instruments, and to their credit, they all jumped on this guy, and within seconds, he was peeled off me, man. But he was like, it was like he was so mad, it was like his worst enemy he'd ever knew. That's how much anger was directed at me. Didn't know the guy from Adam. So RIKK AGNEW was in the audience because he was going to play after that. And after the set, I remember Rick coming up to me and gagging like, what the hell, man? What did I witness? Damn, Bloody. And he told me, you know, I've heard of your music for years and years, since the 80s, and all these different publications like Flipside and whatnot, but I've never heard your music. And he was a big fan of G.G. Allin, RIKK AGNEW. He's got G.G. Allin's face tattooed on his calf, I believe, one of his legs. And he let me know it. Hey, I'm a big fan of G.G. I know of you through him too, and I've heard your name. So Rick and I became friends. And I said, hey, man, we invited Rick, as I kept in touch with him, to not only come and play on my 20th, it was my 30th anniversary album. It was the Bloody Mess Rock Circus Mountain Rock album. 2013 it was released, right? So in 2012, we go into Kitten Robot Studios with the great Paul Roessler at the helm. We record the album on Death Angle Absolution Records. It's called Mountain Rock, the Bloody Mess Rock Circus, available to hear on my other channel, the Church of Rock, all one word. And I asked Rick if he'd play on the album. He said, yeah. And I was like super stoked because I was going to be in LA. So I was trying to invite some of my friends and heroes to come and, you know, be a guest on the record. And I'm happy to say I succeeded and made some great friends in the process. A lot of people that were my heroes growing up became my constituents for a moment in time, and it was really cool. And I'm grateful. But Rick said, yeah. And then finally I asked Rick, hey man, would you produce the album? And he said, you know what, man? I'm just one of those guys that likes to do anything with music. Just throw me whatever money you can, and I'll produce it for you. And at the time, we were kind of broke, and I didn't know what to do. So I gave everybody that was involved, you know, a lot of payment in the form of smokable herbs. And everyone was very, very happy with that because it wasn't cheap down in California. And I gave everyone at least a couple ounces and whatnot, and some money and things like that. I made it worth everyone's time, and I tried to do my best by Rick. And Rick produced the record, although Paul Roessler did record it and engineer it with Rick. Rick pretty much did the production, the final mix, I believe. And so that's that. And I was very happy to have Rikk Agnew on the record. I made some notes here in case I forget stuff, man. But after that album came out, Rick played on a few songs on that record, by the way. Then I invited Rick again in the year 2018 to come to Paul Roessler's Kitten Robot Studios to take part and play some guitar, whatever he wanted, on my band Divine Dirt from the Underworld album. And Rick said yes. And it was cool because we had Jatan Damone, who's a friend, respectfully, and she, amazing solo artist. Jatan Damone, one of my favorites. Love her to death, man. But her work with Christian Death is just beautiful, and I'm a big Christian Death diehard, and I love Jatan. She said yes. So I had two members of Christian Death on that Divine Dirt album, right? Jatan being with Roz later in the band, and Rick being on the first album of the first incarnation of Christian Death. It was pretty cool, you know. And if you didn't know but if you didn't know, Jatan and Rick later became, you know, husband and wife, and such good people, man. Two people that I look up to more than I can really convey in words. They're two artists that they're just legends. They're the kind of people that'll be doing art and music until the day they're not able to do it anymore, you know, for whatever reason. But yeah, Rick came down to the studio, so did Jatan, but this is about Rick, and he ended up doing backing vocals as well on a song called Everyone's on Drugs, which is also a music video. Yeah, Divine Dirt, Everyone's on Drugs, Rikk Agnew, along with a bunch of other cool people, did backing vocals on Everyone's on Drugs, and on another song on the album called Kali Yuga, which is the age we are living in now, the dark days. But I'm not going to get into all that craziness. I was down in LA recording Divine Dirt album with David Valley on the bass and guitar, Andy Friend on guitar, Jesse Lee on the drums, myself on vocals. It ended up being one of the favorite records I've ever put out or had the pleasure of being a part of. The great spiritual teacher and kirtan singer Bhagavan Das is the one that named the album. This is the album cover, Divine Dirt from the Underworld. Bhagavan Das said to me one time, he says, "You've spent most of your life in the underworld." And I thought, man, you're right. And that's a great album title, Baba. So I titled it From the Underworld. And anyway, Rikk Agnew played on two songs on this album. He played on a song called Skeletons, which is a killer music video produced by the late, great Nick Zedd, who was a friend of mine, and I should do a video about our friendship. But Nick Zedd produced the Skeletons video that Rick plays guitar on. It is amazing. Paul Roessler's on keyboards from 45 Grave and the Screamers. It is a freaking amazing. David Valley on guitar with Rikk Agnew. It's really cool. And also he plays on another song on the album called Lifting the Veil. And it's interesting because I'm the singer on the album, but Lifting the Veil, that's an instrumental. Yep, it was so beautiful that I didn't even want to be on it, man. I mean, in retrospect, I wish I would have done some percussion. But it's a beautiful song, and it really sounds like it could be a cast-off from a Christian Death track. And at the end of this video, if you stick around and if you want to hear it, I'm going to play it on my little Victrola stereo. I'm going to play the entire less than 3-minute version of Lifting the Veil with Rick Agnew on guitar. And it's pretty haunting, and it gives me chills when I hear it. And it's beautiful, it's gothic, and it's hard rock, and it's great. But you know, Rick Agnew, man, being a part of like the Adolescents, Social Distortion, DI, his solo stuff, Only Theater of Pain, the Adolescents, the Detours. The guy's just such a freaking legend, man. And what happened was we ended up getting out to LA, and we had a situation where we were able to raise the money to rent an Airbnb for about 6 days. And we ended up renting that from an award-winning, Emmy award-winning actor named Kim Estes. Now you can look him up, Kim Estes. He's been on TV, film, movies. The guy's a really great actor. We rented his home for an Airbnb. The place was beautiful, man. It had like all these fountains out back full of like goldfish and koi fish, fountains everywhere. It was kind of meant for a relaxation, and it was a really great place to chill out when you're recording an album. We recorded this album July 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th, 2018 in the summertime. And a lot of great people came over there, and Casey Royer from DI stopped by the Airbnb. Rick Agnew came by to visit. You know, it's just a beautiful place, man. The guys enjoyed it. And I got to show you something kind of cool before I go on about meditating with Rick Agnew. I have this book called The Idiot's Guide to Hinduism. And when I was in the studio recording the Rock Circus record, I was reading this book, and I had it with me. And Rick Agnew took the pleasure of autographing this for me. And it's pretty funny, man. Like right there's a picture of the saint known as Amma. Rick says, "This is me as a child with my nanny Amma." So that's Rick Agnew as a child with his nanny. And then right there, if you can't read it, it says, "Too bloody, mate for life, making some music." And then a couple other things I can't read, but his autograph is beautiful. Look how Rick signs, man. Rick Agnew. Just really cool looking, man. So yeah, I'm fortunate that he signed that, and a lot of other legends actually signed this book. Should do a story on this book. A lot of people signed it though. But Rick Agnew came over to the Airbnb one day and started hanging out with me and David and Tracy and the band. We were all talking and stuff, and we kind of wanted to hang out. I kept telling Rick, I want to hang out with you, man. Not just do music stuff, but like go do stuff we're both interested in, which is, well, we both have a passion for spirituality, right? Not religion, not organized religion, not any particular religions, no spiritual paths, just people that are into knowing there's more than what's going on and what, you know, we see here with our eyes, right? There's other senses besides sight, sound, touch, hearing. Actually, the Hindus say there's 200 senses, like all these things we call intuitions, or, oh, I had this weird thought, or deja vu. They say all these things are actually different senses that we just haven't learned that we have. And I kind of believe we do have more than 5 senses myself. Anyway, off that kick, so we talked about it, and me and Rick and Tracy decided we were going to go down to the Self-Realization Fellowship Temple, where Mahatma Gandhi's ashes are entombed at, and where the teacher known as, and the author and the, well, dare I say guru? I won't say guru, but he is a guru to many, though, which means teacher, basically. And I'm talking about Paramahansa Yogananda, who wrote a book called Autobiography of a Yogi. And this book changed a lot of people's lives, including mine, for sure. George Harrison from the Beatles. A lot of people, when they read that book, it just blew their minds. That book's never been out of print since the day it came out, like in, geez, I want to say the 30s or the 40s. But anyway, I'm not going to get on a kick to persuade anyone into being into what I'm into, or Rick Agnew's into, or Sister Tracy. But we all decided to go down to this beautiful grounds. It's just a beautiful lake, right, in Pacific Palisades, California. There's like swans on the lake. There's all these places to walk. It's just a really chill place, right? And when you're recording an album, it's kind of tense. It's a little intense. You got a lot of personalities around. You've been working up to this. It's kind of work. But we decided to go down to the temple for a while and chill out before recording that day. And so we did. Rick drove, me and Tracy, down to the temple, which was killer, man. They call it the Lake Shrine down there. Again, Self-Realization Fellowship, also known as SRF. They have these little meditation temples all around the world. So we went to the one down there in Pacific Palisades. Did a lot of talking with Rick. Did a lot of heart-to-heart talking. Rick really clicked. Rick really clicked. Rick really clicked. He clicked with Sister Tracy, my partner, and they had a very deep conversation as we walked around these grounds that had all these different types of plants and trees from around the world, different animals running around. It was just super serene and cool. And the album Divine Dirt is basically sort of a spiritual hard rock punk record, but it's not religious. Don't get me wrong, man. And it's not any path or any side, nothing like that. It's just got a trippy, intense vibe to it, and the lyrics are different than the other stuff I've ever written. And I'm really proud of that record, man. And it's heavy, very, very heavy. I got to tell you, though, a portion of Mahatma Gandhi's ashes are entombed down there at the Gandhi World Peace Memorial, which is encased in a 1,000-year-old stone Chinese sarcophagus. What a trip, huh? Very trippy, man. But Paramahansa Yogananda dedicated the memorial in 1950, kind of envisioning a peaceful space where people of all faiths, or any faith or no faith, could go to and just reflect and meditate, chill out, whatever. So after we walked around the grounds for a while and we visited Gandhi's ashes area and kind of just checked out the place in general and talked about, the book Autobiography of a Yogi, we decided to go down to this little tent, like temple kind of tent. There's not like a temple. There's no one you're like, giving all your devotion to unless you choose to. It's a space where you go to kind of go inward and meditate. There's a lot of people that are into Jesus, into this SRF, Self-Realization Fellowship. They're into Krishna. So those are the two biggies, which is Hinduism and Christianity. A lot of these people are into both of those kind of thoughts. Me, I just go there to connect with the breath, man. And that's what Rick Agnew was doing too, man. There was no talk of any religion, nothing like that. But me and Rick and Tracy found a place to sit down next to a couple other people in there. And it was just a place with a really cool vibe. There was incense blowing in the air. This is outside. You got to remember, California. And it may sound hippy-dippy woo-woo to some of you. I guarantee some of you right now are just going, aha, this is too funny. What a bunch of crap. That's cool. I get it, man. I really do. Sometimes you have to experience something to even know it exists, man. I get it for those of you that don't get it. I really do. And I really will laugh with you because, 20 years ago, I never would have thought in a million years I'd have the beliefs I have now. Not in a million years. I was a hardcore atheist up until 2012. And my belief system isn't exactly normal. So it's not like there's nothing I could talk about right now that you could align with a religion or anything like that. The truth is, though, we sat there with Rick Agnew and we all meditated for about 15 minutes, sitting straight up, in a certain posture with your spine erect, basically. And we closed our eyes 3/4 of the way, and we put our hands out and sat in the lotus position, basically. If you know what that means, you know what that means. If you don't, it's no biggie. Basically, we relaxed. We just stopped talking. We relaxed for 15 minutes. It's really not as weird as it sounds, man. And I tell you what, the health benefits of meditation are killer. Now, it's something I used to practice pretty regularly, and I got kind of out of it, and that's probably why I'm half miserable all the time now again. But Rick and I and Tracy had a really good time connecting with not talking at all, We had that brief time where we were under this, almost like a big tent awning thing, or I'm not sure, but there was like little rows of chairs, not many, maybe 10, 15 chairs, maybe more. But we sat there and meditated. It was really cool. You could hear birds in the air, and it was a very peaceful space. And the, energy, everything is made up of energy, right? It's all frequency and vibrations, man. It really is. Look it up. And the energy that's been sustained at this particular ground for so many years is just wonderful. So you can walk around there and you can feel it. It's palpable, man. It's a place to go if you really want to chill out, man. And a lot of people have gone there over the years. A lot of people that you probably never thought would ever have gone there. A lot of musicians, a lot of famous people. Lynette Fromme told me that her and Manson used to go there all the time and hang out. But anyway, it was a good place to go because it shows the contradictory nature of guys like Rick Agnew and myself. A guy from the band Christian Death, and a guy named Bloody Mess that used to write songs like I Like Sin and stuff like that, to be at a meditation grounds. But The Self-Realization Fellowship is pretty awesome. And if you're looking for meditation, you don't need a temple. You don't need religion. You don't even need spirituality. Not even words at all. No rituals. Everything you have is right here in your own chest, man. Every strength, everything you need to conquer anything is right here within your own chest. So if you got a monkey on your back, you got to take care of it just like I have to take care of the monkeys on my back, right? And we do. We take care of that, man, because we've got the strength right here. Hallelujah! Hey, man, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. Give it a like if you would. Just a thumbs up. It wouldn't hurt you. And if you want to leave a comment. And, you know, at the end of the day, we ended up leaving that temple there, the Self-Realization Fellowship temple there in Pacific Palisades. We ended up driving over to Kitten Robot Studio and laying down a great album. Like I say, it's called Divine Dirt. Whoa! From the Underworld. Cover art by Mr. Valley, David Valley's father, the guy that played guitars and bass on this, along with Andy Friend and Jesse Lee. Pretty cool record, man. And there's yours truly. There's my little mug. Anyway, what I'm going to do, for those of you that want to stick around, man, if you don't want to, I don't blame you. I'm going to play a track from the record for you. I've never done this before. I'm going to go off my script. I'm going to go off take the camera in my hand. I'm going to walk over to this record player, and I'm going to play a tune called Lifting the Veil, which was actually written by, I believe, David Valley wrote the music. God, I really wish I had that information in front of me. I'd feel better if I did, actually, because I'm the kind of guy that likes to give credit where it's due. So inside, I got this cool little insert that came with it, and it's got all the stuff on the back about who wrote what. And I basically am looking to see who the person is that wrote Lifting the Veil, because I can't think of who did write it. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's track number 9. I'm going to say David Valley probably wrote this. But at the same time, what I'm thinking is, I think maybe RIKK Agnew actually wrote this. It says, because he played lead guitar on track number 9. And yeah, he's the only guitar player on track number 9. So wow. I was getting ready to give you guys some false info on my own album. This is how bad the memory can get, man. But RIKK Agnew wrote this, okay? And here's the deal. Me and Sister Tracy left to go get donuts and coffee or something, and they were getting ready to record more in the studio, and David said, "You sure you're going to take off for a little bit?" I go, "Well, you guys are just doing some instrumental stuff," because there was 2 instrumentals on the album, right? Me and Tracy leave for like an hour and a half. I come back and David's like, "Bloody, you totally missed some of the best stuff ever. You're not going to believe this track that RIKK Agnew laid down in one take, man. It made the hair on the back of my neck stand up. You got to hear it." And when I heard it, he was right. I regretted not being there when Rick recorded it. But it is on the album, and I'm going to play it for you guys. It's a song we ended up calling Lifting the Veil, which is like lifting the veil of Maya or illusion. And that's another story, but what I'm going to do is flip this over right now, and I'm going to play this song that I've kind of got queued up. It's Lifting the Veil with Jesse Lee on the drums, RIKK Agnew on the guitar, David Valley on the bass, and yeah, hope you like it. It's from the Divine Dirt from the Underworld album. Man, I'm having a hard time talking, dudes. Forgive me. I only do one take, so I'm not going to edit this or do anything differently. go, man. Pretty intense stuff, man. Hope you like that. RIKK Agnew on the guitar. Great tune, man. Lifting the Veil. That wraps up this portion of tonight's show, or tonight's episode of Meditating with RIKK Agnew in the year 2018. Thanks for being here, guys. I'll be back soon as I possibly can. Cheers.